Good evening, fellow dream warriors, to Riderpiece Theater. Me, Alistair Dayhawk, and tonight, me proud to present Kamen Rider Zeztz, episode 11. So the episode begins with Nox once again with his cryptic talk that, if you keep pursuing this mission on knowing and finding the national secret, then you will be hurt, you'll be killed. All these cryptic messages that he does. And to add, he says, learning too much could destroy you. That which inconvenient truth loves most is darkness. And the monster and Nox disappear together. And then all of a sudden, the dream space turns to night, indicating that the dreamer is waking up. So you see that, the sky is going dark, and Baku's like, okay, looks like my time is up, so I have to go. And so we go to the next scene where we meet Mulder and Scully, and they show up in front of Taro's house. And reason being is to talk to him about Kensei, because he is the only one so far that knows, well, not really knows, but have seen him around. Because remember, according to Mulder, it's been a year since he disappeared. And to have someone like Taro who have seen him, maybe he will get him some clues to where he's been, it's just any ideas in order to look for him, right? So they go to Taro's house, which, by the way, it's complete opposite it's a complete opposite where in the real world it looks like he's been living in a run down house, versus in Dreamland he's living in a mansion. Yeah. And Scully pointed that out, and Mulder's like, yeah, because that's in his dream. This is the real world, and the real world that we live in, it's reality, and right now he's living in a shitty home. And so they go inside, and Mulder is doing all the talking while Scully is there, and Taro is there too, and they were just talking, and it's more like not as a casual talk, it's more like an interrogation. Because you see that Mulder is trying to get information out of him, but Taro's like, look, it looks like you want information from me, but I have a price for my said information, which is information for information. And so Mulder, reluctantly agrees to his terms until later on. But he was like, okay, fine. You want information? I will give you information. Kensei used to work with the PSB. That's it. That's the information he gave so far. And then Taro tells Mulder and Scully that those 3 paintings that gone missing were legendary pieces, and that it's said to believe that it no longer exists. Dun dun dun. Yeah, this episode 2 has a lot of dun dun dun. And so he adds on, saying that therein lies a secret in those paintings, like a mystery code. This is more into National Treasure territory here. So we headed into National Treasure territory, saying from Taro's perspective that, hey, these 3 paintings, were masterpieces. They're said to believe that they no longer exist. And yeah, if you have them together, they will unlock a secret code. And when being pressed with more questions, Taro once again said, hey, I said information for information. You gave information. I give information. If you have more questions, you have to give me more information. But of course, Molders gets all irritated and like, this is how you want to play games? Like, you think that, messing with the paranormal agents is going to get you anywhere? And so, as Mulder gets upset, Scully calls Baku and inform him that we are in currently at Taro's house. Mulder is interrogating Taro. However, we got little information, and they're how you say, at an odds towards each other for the past 6 hours. So they've been at it for 6 hours. And Baku realized that, oh, okay, now I understand. Apparently, Taro woke up too soon, I guess, because he figured, okay, now I get it. So it was Mulder who woke up Taro. That's why I couldn't get anything else from Nox and defeating the nightmare and that sort of thing. Okay, now it makes sense. Then Scully adds, just to confirm, right? Because Scully, knowing that she is the same one of the group, she still does not believe in these powers that Baku claims to have. And so she asked him, is it true that you have the ability to invade people's dreams? And Baku confirms, yes, I do. I have the power to invade people's dreams. And you have a mini conversation between the two. We already know that he has that power, so I don't need to explain further than that. And so we go to the next scene. Baku, after the phone call, went inside his spy room, talked to Zero about the whole Kenze and Nox thing, and also the nightmare setting, setting the paintings to rot. As you remember from last episode, that the nightmare added some, sparked some mold onto the paintings, causing them to rot. And so Baku is feeling like, oh, I think I messed up in the mission. The paintings is starting to rot. I feel like I haven't gotten close to recovering the secret. And, he just feels that he is close to failing the mission. But Zero confirms that, hey, you still have time. The nightmare has yet to invade the real world. So that's a clue there. And he reminds Baku that the ultimate goal, aside from rescuing the dreamer, is to protect the national secret. And so with that in mind, Baku senses Zero's concern and worry. And I have to give kudos to the suit actor, because during this episode with Zero, you don't need a facial expression to understand the severities of the problem of the situation. And the way Zero, without having this expression on his face, because he's a motorcycle and an Autobot, right? You can feel Zero is starting to get very nervous. He's very concerned, because apparently this national secret is big. And when Baku senses his concerns, he asks, okay, something tells me you know about this secret too. And Zero confirms, yes, I do know the secret. And without Baku adding, hey, can you tell me what the secret is? Zero said exactly what Nox told, Baku, that I cannot tell you, because if I were to tell you, it will put you in a more serious danger. And look, I understand where Zero is coming from, but let's be honest here, guys. When you're a superhero, your life is on the line, every single time you're facing a monster into battle or into a serious situation that may or may not cost you your life. So Zero, I understand where you're coming from, but at least give him a little bit of a hint. Because I mean, Baku is really putting his life on the line. He came really close to dying. So that's just my opinion. But to add this whole natural secret thing, and before I move forward, is that something tells me that this secret will be brought back in a later episode or two. Because why else would people like Nox and Zero be all like, oh, if you keep pressing further about the secret, then, you will die and it will harm you, blah, blah, blah. It's dangerous to know the secret. So something tells me Yuya may bring back the subject of the national secret in the near future, which I hope so. But Kamen Rider has been known for its plot holes. So I would not count my chickens in the coop just yet about that. But we will have to see. So with that ominous, word from Zero that, sorry, I can't tell you because it will put you in serious harm, that sort of thing. We go to, Baku again. The next scene with Baku showing up at Taro's house, he goes inside and witness this, shit show of an interrogation, because you see Taro and Mulder and you see this table full of empty cans. I assume they're alcohol. I mean, it's beer. I'm like, it couldn't be energy drinks, okay? So it has to be alcohol, or else those two would have been so tired, weak, woozy from the alcohol. And so Baku comes in, sees the drunkenness, and Mulder is in shock to see Baku in this house, and he gets a little bit upset with Scully, and Baku said, no, do not get mad with her. I asked her and she gave me the information, so whatever. And he is pleading with Mulder, can you please let him sleep? I need to do my job. Please let him sleep. But this is where Mulder, for the first time, is being all like a douchebag towards Baku. Because he's like, look, dude, I understand that you have a job to do, but this is very important to me. Kenzei was my old partner who disappeared within a year. I've been looking for him ever since. And this man here has the information I need to know where he's been, where is he at, that sort of thing. He's the only person so far that knows where he is, or has some measure of information about him that could lead me to him, right? So he's just like, no. You will have your shot until I get the information that I need. And he just pushes him away. And so, yeah, this is like the first time. But he was drunk, and I understand where he's coming from. But come on, Mulder, you're best buddies with Baku. Like, you're like buddy, and you have Scully in the background just rolling her eyes out. Like, I can't believe this. These two people are like, ugh. But any case, so Baku approaches Taro and asks him, hey, do you remember me? And Taro looks at him like, huh? I think I do. Yeah, I remember you, because Baku mentions about him infiltrating his dreams and that sort of thing, which causes Taro to be like, wait a minute, invade people's dreams, what are you talking about? And then this is where the conversation starts between him and Baku asks, hey, do you remember me from your dream? And he adds, remember, I was home housekeeper 7. And just to add, I just noticed this, guys. I know I never brought it up too, but I realized that In his Agent 7 persona, I've noticed that his face is awfully pale compared to the real world Baku when it's like without the makeup on. I just noticed that like his face when he enters the dream space is all pale. I'm like, oh man, you look like a vampire to me. But in any case, it needed to be brought up because I saw like you have Baku in the real world without makeup, and then you have Agent 7 with makeup. I'm just saying in context too. So, yeah. And to add on, Baku said, look, I invaded your dreams. I apologize that your paintings got stolen. And because of me, they're starting to rot. And he bows, he apologizes, which leads to Taro, not crashing out, but he just confessed that, hey, those paintings were my life's work. And apparently, Taro is a painter, yes. But to also add, he said that he is a counterfeiter. He, makes copies of paintings. And he replicated those lost paintings. So, yeah. He views his counterfeit paintings as his masterpiece because he copied them to the T. They're like close to the original. And to make things worse for him, he came around and practically donated the paintings to the art collectors and art museums and all that stuff. When he mentioned Mulder is like, do you mean Kenze? And you see a flashback between Taro and Kenze. Apparently, Kenze commissioned Taro to recreate those paintings, and he was awfully paid for his services. And that was it. Why? We don't know yet. But obviously Kenze / Knox is planning something with those paintings. And we have a quick transition to Zero where he is like, we had to, get that national secret and protect it at all costs. So again, Zero is really worried about this said secret coming out. He's really worried. Or why else is he acting all antsy? Because ever since, Baku has been trying to find ever since Baku has told Zero about the stolen capsim and Nox, and he's been very uneasy lately. And you can tell from the recent scenes in this episode where he is very worried and very concerned, to the point where in one of the later scenes, Zero just stops Baku from going anywhere and telling him that, finding that national secret is the most important thing right now. And I'm proud of Baku just standing up against Zero and saying, look, I understand how important this secret is, but I have a life to save. I'm sorry. And he goes away. But in any case, we move on to the next scene. The drink fest continues. It lasted into the night. So they're both drunk out of their minds. And once again, Baku is pleading with Mulder, can you please stop? Let him sleep so I can invade his dream and defeat the nightmare, get the national secret, and complete my mission, please. I beg of you. But once again, Mulder is telling Baku, back off, okay? Back off. Oh man, Mulder, you're a mean-ass drunk. However, Scully points out, hey, Taro's asleep. He's knocked out. And everybody just turns and looks at Taro, and he is fast asleep. However, they are starting to notice moles coming out from his hands. And Baku realized, oh, great. I mean, it's already begun. And Mulder is trying his best to wake Taro up, but Baku said, "I'm sorry, but that does not work. In order to, stop this thing from spreading is to kill the nightmare. So I have to go to sleep and fight the nightmare there." And you see in a transition scene where you see all the 9 doors opened except for one, and that last one is trying so hard to open itself up, and we go into the keyhole and you see rich Taro in Dreamland in pain. So Baku quickly returns home. Now, before I move any further into the next scene, this is something you could say I have a problem with, because why does Baku need to return home and sleep there? Why can't he just sleep in the couch or in the chair in Taro's house? It doesn't make any sense to me. It's just that it feels like the only way that Baku can infiltrate one's dream is to sleep in his own room. And to me, it's like, come on. I don't like that drawback. It never stated, this is why does Baku needs to go home in order to fight a nightmare, in order to infiltrate a dream? Again, he could have just slept in, Taro's chair or floor or whatever. Why waste time? You could have saved a lot of time by just sleeping in his house. That's just my opinion. And hopefully that's not the case in the near future. But if it is, it sucks to be Zeztz. Because if I were to be Zeztz and I have, a mission to complete, let's say if it's in San Diego, for example, I have to go to, all the way to away from San Diego to where I'm living right now. That would be like a 4 or 5 hour drive. No. No. There's no way in hell. In any case, Baku returns home and he was ready to go to bed, but then bad timing Minami storms in there, and Baku's like, oh, hey Minami, what's up? And Minami's like, did I wake you up or something? And Baku's like, no, nothing like that. Do you need anything? Oh, no, nothing at all. And Baku asks his sister by saying this: protecting national secrets might be a too big of a job for me, but helping people is something I can do, right? He is questioning himself, and he wants reinsurance from his sister. Look, this thing that I'm doing, it's too hard, but I can still help people. I'm good at helping people, right? And Minami gave up the best answer. Dude, you know that you're cursed, but it doesn't stop you from helping people. That's how, it's who you are. It doesn't matter if you step on poo or some random UFO electrocutes you, the white truck of doom runs you over, you still get up and help people in the very end. That's how, it's who you are. And that gives Baku that confidence that he needed, and be like, hey, thank you, I needed that. And he goes to sleep immediately, and was like, my God, you sleep fast. The moment your head hits the pillow, you're out. But this scene ends very interestingly, because as Baku gets knocked out, Minami, gets her curiosity piqued, because she is slowly approaching his closet, And it looked like she was about to open that closet, but she stopped herself and just walked away. And yeah, you will get your chance. You will know the truth, but something tells me you will know the truth like around maybe at the tail end of the 20s into the hard 30s. Right now, it's too soon for you to know the truth. So, yeah, you're not allowed to go in there. At least not yet. So, yeah, we had like a chair off moment when Minami was like about to open the closet, but she decided not to. So Baku returns to Dreamland and meets up with Zero and Nem, and tells them, Nem gives Baku the bad news that the paintings once again got stolen, and the only person that they can think of, it's Nox. So Nox was the one who stolen the paintings, and Zero wants to find him and to get the national secret. And this is where I said to you guys earlier about what happened between Baku and Zero, because in Zero's mind right now, the national secret is what's most important. And that's when, Zero said, no, the national secret is important right now. We need to go find him first, Nox. But Baku said, no, I cannot, because right now the nightmare is attacking Taro right now. And I need to go over there and destroy the nightmare, because that mole is coming out into the real world, because you saw what's happening with Taro in the real world. So he feels like he needs to go and save Taro first and then deal with the secret. And then this is where Zero comes in and just stops him. Like, he just uses his arm and just blocks his way. Like, hey, we need to get to the secret first. And again, Baku said, no, I'm sorry. My priority right now is to save a life, okay? If you want to go find the national secret, find Nox, then go right ahead. He doesn't really say that, but Baku said, look, I can't right now. I have to save Taro before it's too late. So I have to, I can't do both right now. And he goes away, just leaving Zero and Nem just like almost in shock. But Nem knows that, Baku's doing the right thing, and Zero does too. But I bet he's just surprised that he just defy an order, I guess. But he did the right thing, Baku did. So, Nox, speaking of Nox, we go to the next scene. Nox was the one who stole the paintings. He used some blue liquid to unlock this door. So these three paintings merged together to form this door leading into this room full of stuff. And what's important is what's on top of the desk, where you see folders of the national secret, but also this giant ass briefcase, which we all assume is going to be, the Nox driver, which is no surprise there. So obviously he's going to take that over the stupid files. So yeah, so he took that. So we go to the next scene where the nightmare is spreading mole on top of Taro, and then Baku comes in. He transforms into Barrier Zeztz, and we have a fight. And then the nightmare all of a sudden turns into mini nightmare. And then this is where Baku used this opportunity to use the Wonder Capsule to turn himself into a tiny version of itself. And what's cool about this fight is that you see both the Nightmare and Zeztz fighting on top of Baku's scythe, which I thought it was very creative and cool of them to do. So I thought it was cool to see him fight on top of the scythe. And then at the end of the fight, you see the monster transform himself into a molecule size of itself, assuming that, hey, Zeztz cannot get me now because I'm of a size of a molecule, so there's no way in hell. But then Baku comes in and be like, hey, I can do the same thing too. I mean, yeah, I may be human, but humans can do anything through the power of dreams. And he does the a break arm edge attack, and he destroys the nightmare. You see the butterfly sucking in all the purple particles, and it flies away out of Taro. Taro is safe, and the day is saved, right? But not quite, because he reports back to Nem and Zero, telling them that, hey, the nightmare has been destroyed, Taro is safe. But Zero's like, well, we still haven't found the national secret yet. And that's when Baku said, no, not necessarily. And thanks to his quick thinking, we go back to where the dream turned dark. Remember that scene? Apparently, there's an added scene. Before Baku woke up, Baku not planted, but used his Zeztz sensor and told it to follow Nox. And lo and behold, the sensor found Nox and followed him to the door. So, smart thinking on Baku's part. So, Zero, Nem, and Baku go to the designated area, and they see that metal door, and Baku is thanking the sensor for, doing its good work. They go inside, and they see the stuff. They see the files still there, and Baku said mission complete, and Zero is thanking, Baku for completing the mission. You see Nem trying to touch those files, but Baku said, no, Nem. No. It's top secret. And even though, they got their hands of the national secret, you could tell that Zero is still feeling a bit uneasy now, because he knows that, we have the secret in hand, but something tells me that Zero knows that Nox took that briefcase. That's why you could tell from Zero's, look that, I think I know what Nox took, and he ain't gonna like it. So we get to the last scene where we know why he took the recovery capsule for. So he opens the briefcase, and you see, it's not broken, but it looks like the driver and the capsule inside that briefcase look like it's frozen in ice or turned to stone. So he uses the recovery to repair the driver and the capsule, and once it's repaired, Nox says it's time for revenge. And that's how the episode ends. Golly, this episode has been a lot. There's been a lot of friction between heroes. You have Baku and Zero, and Baku and Molder. And Zero's, I can understand, but what is it about this secret that it will harm Baku? Like, I wonder what it is. Maybe it has something to do with Nox, maybe with Nem, or maybe about himself, Baku. Who knows? But Zero was all about, we need to get to the secret. And Baku's like, I understand it's part of the mission, but right now, I need to save Taro. Because if I don't, then that nightmare is going to wreak havoc in the real world. And that's something that we both want. And then with Molder, where Baku is begging, him, please let him sleep, please. And Molder's like, no, I need to talk to this guy because he's the only one who knows about Kensei, my own partner. I need to know. And he is the only link to him. And both of those men, Zero and Baku, there's been a lot, there's desperation in their voices. Desperation. If not in their voices, but their mannerisms. And Baku's like, oh my God. I understand, guys, but I still have a mission to complete. Saving lives comes first. Protecting national secrets comes second. And the other, well, not issue, but it's just the thing that I have a problem with right now with this episode is, why does Baku need to go back to his room in order to sleep and invade people's dreams? Like, why can't he just sleep anywhere and still invade people's dreams? That's something that needs to be mentioned, but something tells me that it won't happen. But this is something that, like, really, is it really necessary for him to go back home and sleep in his own bed? Like, come on. Like, that's just, my opinion, issue, whatever you like to call it. But other than that, that's it. Nox wanting revenge, friction between heroes. The painting is a mystery code / natural treasure. That's it. All right, kiddos. If you've seen the episode, which I hope you guys did, tell me about it. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Did I miss anything? Even though I have my notes in front of me, I may have missed a couple of things here and there. You never know. And give a like if you like it, and please subscribe. And also, this coming week is Thanksgiving week for us here in America. So happy Thanksgiving for those who celebrate it. And I will see you all on the other side of Oblivion. Johnny!